Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we got a pretty exciting video because we have a new 3D printer to unbox. So this is one of those ready to go out of the box, great for anyone that just wants to start printing and not mess with the assembly. So in this video we're going to unbox it, set it up, and do some test prints. Alright, so let's get started. Alright guys, so I got this printer from a company called SOOWAY. So they have a few different printers, and this is one of their models here. And this one is called the Mini SW-36. So this is the box it comes in. It's not super huge, but it's a decent sized box. Pretty compact. So this is the top of it here. Let's go ahead and open it up. Alright, so let's see what we got in here. Okay, so far looks like very nice packaging. Alright, so this thing is tucked away in a cube of foam. Well, I guess maybe we should do this here. So pretty nice thick foam all around it. And this is what it looks like. I love the red here. It's a nice touch. So it looks like they packed everything inside of the printer. Let me tilt this thing so you guys can see here. But there's more stuff in there. Alright, so I'm just going to pull things out. So it looks like there's a little bit of PLA sample filament. Blue, pretty nice. So there's foam inside, lots of pieces. So it looks like most of the items are underneath the bed. So we have two boxes that were inside of here. So before we get to the printer, let's look at what we have in these boxes. Looks like we have the power supply, and it is not a small one, it's pretty large. So it looks like it's a 12 volt, 10 amp power supply. Pretty cool. And here we have the other box. And they did send us the right cable. Excellent. So here it looks like we have some rubber feet for the printer. And check that out guys, a full size SD card. What looks like to be an adapter also, a USB adapter for actually all kinds of cards. Pretty cool. So here's another packet. And inside the packet we have the cable that you can connect straight to your computer from the printer. Some Allen wrenches to work on the printer. And last but not least, made in the United States, pliers or clippers in there. Very interesting. And there you can see the stamp, made in USA. So alright guys, so far I'm getting a really good vibe about this printer. Everything is pretty straightforward and simple. Seems to come with everything you need. Alright, so here on the top they look like they have the hot end shrink wrapped here so it doesn't move around during shipping. It's actually pretty clever. Alright, so let's set this guy on its side here carefully. And here we can see the bottom is actually acrylic. And it looks like it has a little bit of residue here from the factory. So they include 4 of these little rubber feet. So let's go ahead and peel them here. So I'm just gonna go pretty close to the edge here on the top and just right next to that bolt there. That should be pretty good. Alright, so our feet are on, so let's flip it back over. Alright guys, so let's take a little closer look here. So from the top here, we can see the main head here. See if I can move this by hand. Alright, here we go. So just from looking at it, I can see that these parts here are 3D printed. So it looks like we have a dedicated blower fan back here that blows right there. And here we have a pretty tiny fan that blows on the radiator here to keep the filament cool as it comes down. So the way this printer works is the bed just goes up and down. And then the Y and the X axis are here on the top, just like that. And if you can see guys, it runs on these rails right here for the X axis. And also rails for the Y axis there on the top, if you can see that. Same thing on this side. So here's one of our home switches for the Y. So the home switch for the X axis is right on the hot end assembly here, and it looks like that it's probably bent or something because it's completely fallen over, but it is supposed to click right here. So, and also guys, I don't know if you can see, but those wires right there, that's actually for the fan, and they are riding right on the rail here, or very close to it. So we're gonna have to do something about that also. Alright, so we have a stepper motor back there, an extruder motor here, and another motor right there. And somewhere down there we have the Z-axis motor. So let's go to the back side of the printer here. As you can see guys, we have an orange extruder assembly here, and that is also 3D printed. So if you guys can't tell yet, there's quite a few 3D printed parts on this printer. So what's kind of neat about this thing is that it has a filament detection sensor here. So it looks like when the filament goes up there, the little switch switches it. And so I guess whenever the filament does run out, and this thing will let you know and pause the print. So here we can see we have an adjustable Z-axis slots there. And here on the back we have a filament spool holder, and it looks like for smaller filament spool holders, and that is also 3D printed. So if we go to the bottom here, this is where we're going to plug in our power cord, and that's pretty much it for the back of the printer here. So if we go to the side, we can see we have that USB connection and a full SD card reader. That's definitely nice that they put a full one. And the other side is just plain and has a handle. And yeah guys, it does have 2 handles here on each side, so you can grab it and move it around. That's nice. So here in the front we see the SOOWAY logo. Looks very cool. And as we go down, we see the bed in here, and the bed is 140 by 140, and you can print 140 tall. So that's a pretty nice cube there. So this is equivalent to something like a Flash Forge Finder, or just a little smaller than an Ender 2. So a pretty good size, especially for the form factor of this printer. So this bed looks to be all aluminum here, the structure, and it is not a heated bed, so it's for PLA only. But it does have a unique feature, which is it's magnetic. And here you can see the part of the magnetic bed here, and this part is the top piece that comes off when you want to pull your prints out. And this is really awesome because this makes it really easy to get your print off when you're done. Alright guys, and if we go lower, we can see that there is a fan right there, and looks like a hinge door. So yeah, there's actually a door that hinges open. And I guess if you had your bed up all the way, you could open it up and work on the printer if you needed to. That's kind of interesting. Alright, so for the main part, we have an LCD screen here. So this is a touch screen LCD. There's like a little protector here. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. So I think it's a 2.4 inch LCD. So that's pretty cool that it comes with that. It seems like all the new printers are going that route where they use the touch screen. And here in the front, last but not least, we do have a button, which is the power button. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in this power supply into the printer. And the power supply does have a light that glows when it's plugged in. So here we have the power socket. So we're just going to plug it in, and that's it. We should be ready to go. Alright, so now all we got to do is push the power button, see what happens. Check out that super cool logo, guys. Wow, the screen is actually a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. So it's like a full color display, and unfortunately it's in Chinese, so hopefully we can figure out how to change that to English. Can we? Well, there we go, English. Well, that was simple. Wow, the responsiveness is great of this thing. So all the fans are running. You can probably hear them. The cooling fan on the hot end is running. The blower fan's not on, I think, and that's probably because it's not printing yet. And then the electronics fan back there is also on. Alright guys, well that's super cool. Let's go ahead and go through the menus here and see if we can find anything. So let's go to System first. About. Very interesting. So here we have a factory default, and then back. So pretty simple, nothing too complicated here. Let's see, application. Alright, so here where we have all of our stuff. So we have bed preheating, manual movements, leveling assistance looks like, Wi-Fi connection, fan control, and that's the back button. And here we have manual movements. Wow, I really like the display on this thing. So you have a home button, a stop button back, and then you have your typical controls here. So let's see if we wanted to move the Y-axis. So we just click Y, and then here we can see as I'm clicking it, it's moving around. Z, that should make our bed move. Alright, so that's moving. And X. Alright, so it looks like all of our axes are working, and we homed on the Z. But the only thing I'm noticing is that there's wires back there that might be a little too close. If you can see that pack of wires right there, that needs to be probably addressed a little bit. Alright, so let's go back, and let's go ahead and do the bed leveling here. Alright, so it's done homing. Alright, so it looks like it's waiting for us to confirm and click next to go to the next step. So I'm going to just adjust it here. We're going to use a little piece of paper. That should be pretty good right there. It's got a little bit of tug. So let's click next. So maybe I wasn't supposed to level from there. Maybe that is the corner it wants me to level at. Okay, so that does need to be a little bit tighter. Alright, looks good right there. We'll click next. So the adjustable knobs are a little bit small, but they're not hard to turn. They're actually pretty comfortable, and there's plenty of room in there, as you can see, to turn them. Click next. So as you can see, it's logging our points that we've done already. So point 1, 2, 3, point 4, okay. And I guess that's all the points. Let's see if we can actually print something. And before we do that, we need to load the filament. So it doesn't appear that the extruder is getting hot. At this point, I can't even load the filament because it won't let me. Alright, so let's go ahead and put the SD card in there. Can't really figure out how to preheat the head. So we're just going to go ahead and go to this route here and see maybe we can get some kind of reaction. So we'll click on print here. And it looks like we have a test G-code in there. Alright, so let's do that. Let's click on it. Are you sure you want to print? Yes. Okay, so I think it's working now. If you look over there, guys, you can see it's preheating. But I don't even have filament in it at the moment. So I guess I can go ahead and try to put it in while it's preheating. Alright, so putting the filament in shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so I'm starting to think that maybe it didn't react because this button wasn't pushed. Maybe that's the case. Alright guys, so I finally figured out how to use it. So if you go to load and unload here, what you need to do first, I already have it preset, but what you see, I turned it off, now it's going down. So it'll slowly start dropping. But what you got to do is first you got to put in the temperature you want, let's say 220, and then push OK. And once you do that, then you push on, and then it'll heat it up. So we'll see it start going the other way here. And there it goes, it's starting to go back up again. So as you can see there, it's going up. So once you get to temperature, and then you can feed the filament in. This is to put it in, and this is to push it out. If you just hold this or push it once, you can see that I've already purged and I have filament coming out. And on the extruder here, you have a little knob here that, you know, if you're skipping, you can tighten it a little more, and that'll push a little more pressure on the filament as it feeds it. So yeah, it looks like we figured it out. So now we can do a print. Alright, so let's go back to our SD card and print that G-code. So we're warming up. We're actually probably cooling down because we're too hot. And it should start printing here. So I'm going to go ahead and try to print with no glue or anything on the bed. See how that sticks. If our level's pretty good, it should stick, but we'll see. Alright, so it's starting to move around. Okay, so it's definitely not sticky. Oh, there it goes. It's trying to stick. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think I should probably stop it and add the glue. I think the bed probably has some grease on it just from assembly and things like that. So let's go ahead and cancel the print. Okay. So as you can see, guys, it looks like it had a pretty good start overall. So maybe it would have been fine without the glue. But I don't want to start a print and then have it break off. So let's go ahead and put some glue on there. So let's try pulling this magnetic mat off. And here we can see the print, guys. The very first layer. It looks actually very even. Alright, so I put some glue on there. So hopefully we're going to have a good start. We're warming up and it's actually really quick. So literally within a minute it'll start printing. Hopefully you can see that, guys, but it looks like it's doing really good. The level seems to be just right. So it appears that the fan is still not on, but we're only on the first layer. We'll see if it turns on. So it looks to be okay so far. Maybe the bed needs to be a little bit tighter, but it's all sticking and going, so we're just going to let it go. So it appears to be some kind of fish or something. I guess we'll see once it's done. So the printer is relatively quiet, but it's still making that stepper sound, but it's not obnoxiously loud. It's actually on the quiet side. Let's take a look at the screen here. So here it tells us how much time passed since we started. That's our hot end, how hot it is at 200. That's the bed, and we obviously don't have that option. So here we can cancel the print, pause the print, and then we have more information over here. So let's go ahead and click that and see what happens. Alright, so here we can control certain areas. So we can control the extruder temperature, the fan temperature, which looks like turned to 100%. And it did, guys. You can see it spinning there. And actually seems to be blowing really good. I can feel it, like a lot. So we'll see how the print turns out. So yeah, guys, you do have a few options here if you wanted to adjust something, even the speed of the print. So it doesn't really tell us how much is left, but we can indicate here that we're done 8%, and that's what that red part is how much is completed. Well, I can't wait to see what this fish will look like. So far, everything's looking pretty good. So the print is doing great, coming along pretty nicely. But there's a problem that all 3D printers have, and that is back here on the Bowden tube. The coupling here moves around as it retracts. You see that? So we're probably going to have a little bit of stringing on our part because of that. So to remedy this, we got to print out a little clip that will go in here. Alright guys, so I had to leave the house, and when I came back, it looks like the filament detection had an issue right at the end, and it did not finish printing. And it's asking me to replace new material. So I guess somehow the switch triggered here as the filament was going in. So I guess let's go ahead and continue it here. Continue print. Hopefully it'll start here, or maybe I gotta click this. Let me check. Okay, there it goes. So now it's starting. Alright guys, and it's done. It took 1 hour and 24 minutes. So we'll just click finish here. Let's take a closer look at this thing. I'm going to shut down the printer. And check out that print, guys. It did pretty well. It looks like it's a little bit under extruded, but that's a pretty fine piece. Alright, so let's see if we can pop this guy off here. It comes off really easy. Look at that. So we can see here a little bit of that stringing, and that's because of that Bowden tube coupler there. But other than that, it finished printing and everything was good. And it looks like the fish is bendy and everything is holding together. Look at that. So I would say this is a pretty successful print for the first print without even adjusting anything. Well, that's pretty awesome. Alright, so I printed some more things off camera, so let's look at them. So I did reprint the fish here again, and this time around he turned out much better. So there's practically no stringing, and everything looks pretty good overall. So I'm just using my Ender 2 profile. So maybe a little bit of tuning of the profile could definitely get a much better result, but this already seems to be very good overall. So also I decided to print a benchy, and the reason I printed this is because I was curious how it would turn out without any modification to the slicer. And look at that, guys. I was super impressed. With no tuning whatsoever of any sort, this is what we got. That's very impressive. And one of the things that impressed me a lot was the overhangs. They're practically perfect. And this window up front usually sags a bit. On this thing, there's no sag almost at all. And look how clean the body is. Very nice. I mean, that's a pretty high quality print there, guys. And the bottom is equally impressive. Look at that. And if you look on the back there, if I can get this lighting right, you can actually read what it says back there. It's hard to get this thing to focus, but it's one of the clearest I've seen where you could actually read what it says back there, which is hashtag 3D benchy. So pretty impressive, to be honest, overall. This is definitely one of the better benchies that I have ever printed on a printer. I was not expecting that for sure. So after I printed this benchy, I wanted to print something a little bit more delicate. And so I printed one of those little surprise eggs. And you can see the egg turned out very well overall. And it does have hinges here. Well, let's open it up. And in the egg, we're going to find a little robot. And so obviously I used white filament for the egg part. And as you can see, guys, it turned out perfect. And look at those hinges. And it opened up perfectly. It had just a tiny bit of resistance when it opened, but it was not an issue whatsoever, and it just cracked open. It functions like it's supposed to. Opens and closes. So obviously the egg printed separately from the little robot guy looking here. I'm not sure exactly what this is. I'm sure some of you guys might know, but so it prints sitting down like this, you know, and then once it's done, it should be able to move. And his legs move back and forth like this, and his head spins. And also his arms move like this. And they also, let's see, pivot like this. And this is a pretty small piece here. So as you can see, guys, this printer is capable of printing these kind of things with no issues whatsoever. And so the way this guy goes in the egg is just, he just sits in it. And then you just close them. And you got yourself a little egg surprise. The kids love this. So yeah, as you can see, guys, I'm very highly impressed of this thing. To be honest, as I was setting up the printer, I did not expect it to be this good. And one of the things that threw me off a little bit was some of the 3D printed parts that the printer uses. So most of the box structure is plastic, and then we do have these metal sides here on every corner, which is definitely a nice touch there. But now that I got a chance to use it, I'm actually very impressed of how well it does. So overall, I would have to say this is a good machine. It has all the modern features that you would want in a 3D printer nowadays. Like if you would have lost power, you know, you can resume print. Filament detection, so if you run out of filament, it'll pause. It has a magnetic bed and also a full color touchscreen LCD over there. So it has a lot of features, and I definitely love that it uses a full SD card. That has been very nice because the little micro SD cards are kind of hard to fiddle around with. So this would work very great as a little desktop printer if you didn't want anything bulky on your desk that takes up way too much space. Alright guys, well hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then hit that like button. And if you're interested in a printer like this, then check out the links in the description where you'll be able to find this. And also guys, if you enjoy videos like this and you're not subscribed, then hit that subscribe button. I do a lot of 3D printing stuff on this channel, and there's a lot more to come. And also check out my other videos that I have. And as always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.